team after kind of all came together? You see where you're at, you see who you're playing, you see the field. What should you tell them?
It was really a layout for the league. I said, hey, I think this is a good draw. I mean, everyone is good. We're going to play some tough matches. And we're going to rest tomorrow, rehab. I gave them a film assignment and get on top of studies. And then we're going to move into a hotel on Thursday. We're going to make it like a road trip.
So standard business stuff, huh?
Yeah.
What do you how excited do you think this group is to? Because I mean, obviously last year it was still in their minds. They didn't like how that tasted. It seems like that's been a driving force for them throughout the year. Where do you think this group's at mentally right now as they get a crack at it?
I think they're a confident group. I think we're playing well. This is what everyone dreams about. So now it's go time, and we know we've got a tough Auburn team, and then a tough Houston and South Dakota team coming in. So it'll 4 teams that want to go out to Palo Alto most likely. So, but we're excited, and they'll be ready to go.
Team had a huge reaction when you saw that Marquette got the host team. What did that mean that you guys beat them in the conference championship and that they ended up hosting it?
Well, it's big for the Big East, and I think our team understands that we want the league to do well. So for not only both of us obviously making the tournament, but both to get a top 16 seed, I think is really telling. And I would assume the committee watched the match and saw that, hey, this is high quality volleyball, and both teams deserve to host.
Coach, how do you get your team focused on the present and not the past to get out of this first weekend of play?
Well, I think a mantra all the time is one match at a time. Fans are coming up saying, we're coming to Omaha, and I'm like, listen, we will worry about Friday night, so that's what we do all the time. So I think, that we haven't spent time talking about the past years or the successes we've had in the past. It is about this year and winning the next match and playing well Friday night.
So you get an extra day, opening on Thursday. That's by design. I'm guessing that's a huge bonus for you guys that going all weekend.
Well, and I think other teams are probably in the same boat. So, as a host, you bid on which days are going to be best. And some years we've had to do Thursday, Friday because of a facility conflict. But as Flan texted me that last night, he said, make sure you host because we went on the road so you could host. So we're excited to get to play at home.
What are some of the challenges of starting from scratch, scouting a new team, because you've been in conference play and you've known those teams?
Yeah, it has a preseason feel for sure, and I don't know much about Auburn. I know their coach. I know that they haven't made the tournament for a long time, and Brent's done a great job. I know they were on the bubble, and then I don't know much about Houston. So, and I do know South Dakota. So, and I know South Dakota is good. So, I think we could, we're going to be up for a battle in the first match, and then I don't know who will come through in the second match. So it's fun, though. I think this is the fun time. The coaches spend tons of hours scouting, and we'll watch a lot. Nowadays, you can watch every single match. Back when I started coaching, which was many moons ago, you had like 2 matches to watch. So now you can get a much better idea of tendencies and have a good scouting report put together.
You're big on the mental side of things. How do you balance the playing like it's a regular match but knowing the finality of things if things go south?
Well, I think, we're going to talk about playing fearlessly, going for it, playing with joy. I mean, I think we'll keep the same mantras that we do all the time. And, I think you don't play well when you play in fear. So it's not going to be an issue that we're talking about that. But everyone knows, it's winter, you get to move on. And if you lose, you go home. So, I mean, there's definitely a different stress. But I think this group is strong enough to manage that.
If I read Rob's notes right, I believe you brought a Blue Jay team to the NCAA tournament more than any other coach in school history. What does that mean to you? I'm sure you're going to deflect and say it's about the kids, but knowing you. But what does it mean? It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool honor that nobody's done.
Yeah, that is. I just, again, you just stole what I would say, Andy. But really, it is. I've been fortunate. We were in a hotbed of talent. We've had unbelievable young women, and I think that they've stayed the course consistently. But there's so many people that work into this: the staff, the players, people like Rob. All these people that work to make Creighton volleyball great. Our marketing, all those things that are part of the success of the program, and we just want to go further. And now it's our opportunity to try to do that.
It is pretty impressive to see, talking to the girls, it's not just about going to the NCAA tournament. It is about hosting and making a run, right? That wasn't always the case.
Sure.
That was built up.
Yeah, we started talking about that in January. So, we always take the season in chunks, right? We do our non-con, then we do conference, and now it's postseason. And and we've clicked, we've checked a lot of boxes, fortunately. And obviously, we hope that we can continue to play well down the stretch.
Is this weekend important for the team's confidence? I guess obviously important because you might not be hosting if you didn't win, but if you had dropped to the Marquette, who's basically the only NCAA tournament caliber team, or any NCAA tournament team that you played in the last month and change. I know you do. That's why I switched the wording up. If you had lost to them again, do you think your team's psyche would be in a different spot than maybe it is now after playing so well this last weekend? Do you think that's important?
Well, I think what was important was how we responded to the Marquette loss. So had we lost 15-13 last night, I think we'd still be in a good place. Now, if we lost to Xavier and got swept or got smoked by Marquette, I think it would have been how we lost. I think we know Marquette's a great team.
Yeah.
I mean, I walked out of there and I was like, that is by far the best Marquette team we've played. I mean, that's a good team. But I think we know we can play at a very high level. So I think those things are good. We got to make sure that we have the edge that we went in on Saturday night, that we come in with that edge on Friday.
A lot of the ranked teams were on your non-conference schedule. How do you think that scheduling prepared the team for this moment?
Yeah, I think it's really important, and I think it gives them confidence as they go into playing other teams that have that big name on the back of the jersey. That hey, we've played a lot of these teams, and we've either beaten them or it's been close. I mean, we lose to Kentucky this year, but we beat them the 3 years prior. So our team knows, hey, we're in this league with some of these teams that are the perennial powers. So I think it's a confident group. I don't think it's a cocky group. I think they know they've done. I mean, our record indicates that they respect everybody. So I think that's one thing that makes a team great is they know any team on the other side. If you don't bring your A game, you're going to lose.
Going to the NCAA tournament isn't anything new for you, for this program. However, it is new for a couple of your transfers. How was it just seeing them react to being able to play in this tournament?
Well, some of them made the decision to come here because that's what they, had dreamed about doing. And so, again, I love this group. That is not coach speak. Like, I love these young women so much. And, they'll talk about this is what they dreamed about, So we want to, Kiara Reinhart talked about the Big East tournament like when she was a sophomore in high school, dreaming about being in a Big East final and that, holding that trophy at the end. So all those moments are things that they've worked really, really hard for, These are the moments, but all that, all those 6 a.m. workouts and all those things that when people aren't watching, this is the time to kind of let it shine.
Reaction to your seat. How good is the draw for you?
I think as a team we're really thinking this is a good draw for us. I think being able to host is such a blessing, being in a home environment, being able to take advantage of that. And then I think we're set up for we can make a really good run in the tournament this year. I think all teams are great, but I think our draw was really good. And I think we're all really pumped about it.
How do you feel, I guess you haven't been anywhere else but home for
Right.
the tournament in your career, but
Right.
how comfortable are you able to get knowing that it's basically like a home weekend, it's just
Right.
high-level matches?
Right, it just feels like another conference weekend essentially. Obviously the stakes are a little bit bigger, but I think we just have the best fans in the world. I mean, you see here, we've got people supporting from everywhere. I think it's going to be a packed house. I think we learned playing at Marquette, when they had a packed house, that's a really hard environment to play under. And when the roles were flipped and we were hosting and it was packed here, we used that to our advantage. So I think it's only going to benefit us, and we're super pumped about it.
Yeah, I think so. In the past, I would argue that Creighton's got teams that maybe play better on the road.
Right.
Do you feel like this group plays better in their own gym, considering the environment you can simulate now in your league and back?
I do. I think we, as a team this year, have really been able to use our home environment to our advantage. And I think in past years, being on the road has been nice. It's taken some pressure off to be able to perform. And I think we can do that this year too. But I think at home, we're really, really special. So, yeah.
Have you watched Auburn play at all this season?
Not a ton, but that's what our job is tomorrow, starting now. Seeing that, we're we're going to watch film, we're going to start preparing, visualizing all the good stuff. So I know they're a great team and they come from a good conference. So.
And you knew you were going to be in, but still,
Right.
the moment is pretty cool to see your name up there, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, 100%. I think we take it for granted too. We're sitting there not worried about whether we're going to get in, but whether we're going to host or whether, we're going to play at Stanford or whatever, But I think you have to take a step back and realize that, there's how many teams that don't even make the tournament, So realizing how special that is and then just going for it now.
And how much do you have to focus in on putting the past in the past about, being at home, trying to get out of the weekend, and that type of, there's a new team with new players, and you can't worry about what's happened in the past? Is that the way you look at it?
Yeah, 100%. I think, we had a great conference season this year. We had a good preseason. And I think it's just fun now, right? Like, these are teams that we've never seen before, never played. And I think from there we'll do our scout, we'll do our research, and it's just fun from there. It's fun to play different teams. So.
What are some of the challenges of playing a team? You've been in conference play, and now you're out to a different conference that you guys haven't really faced.
Right. I think it's hard because, the teams that we play, Butler, Xavier, Marquette, like we know their players, we know their tendencies. We've played them how many times in the past couple of years. And I think a team like Auburn, like we've never seen. We hardly play SEC teams in pre-con, non-con. So I think it's going to be a challenge from that end, but I think it's also a really cool opportunity to play a team that we've never seen before, never scouted before, and I think we're just going to rise to the occasion. So.
What was it like to see a lot of teams that you guys have beat, not only in the tournament, but also ranked, like Florida State, Marquette?
Right. I think, like that should just be a confidence boost for us, like seeing a Florida State make it, seeing, even Rice, like that was a loss for us, that was a really good game, seeing them be a top seed. I think it's just such a blessing for us and also a confidence boost, like to go in and being like, okay, well, we beat Iowa State and Iowa State beat Texas, like, kind of putting pieces together and being like, at this point, like everyone, it's just it's game on for everyone, like we can beat anyone, and it's kind of on our end how we respond. So
you kind of mentioned it, and I mean, it probably will be part of the week in preparation, the fact that you haven't made it past the second weekend.
Right.
How much has that been in your mind this season as we've gone through it, and now that you're on the doorstep of going back to the tournament?
It's almost surreal because it was on our minds in January of last year. Like we came back in the spring, and I remember we went on the whiteboard in practice and we drew like Final Four 2022. I think there is this little bit this mental block of, okay, we haven't made it past the second round, and we're a team that we know is capable of making it past the second round. I think, if anything, we're just using it as fuel, and we're super pumped, and I think we're going to do it this year. I think we're going to make a great run. So,
Kentucky ended up in your bracket. Do you look at that and see a little bit of revenge coming?
Oh, 100%. I think we've got some fire personalities. Our team is like, bring it on. Like it's one match at a time, right? Like it's Auburn, and then hopefully it's Houston or South Dakota, So I think taking it one match at a time, but it's still fun to look ahead and be like, okay, we could get some revenge on these teams, but really just looking at one match at a time right now. But yeah, there's some revenge that we could get potentially in the tournament. So
it's just so joyful and super fun. So we're all really pumped up.
You look really nervous, kind of like waiting for Creighton's name to be called. What are your emotions? This hasn't happened maybe to you before, so what were your emotions just waiting for that moment?
Definitely. I've never been a part of the Division I selection show, knowing that we were going to be in, but just not know when. So it was just like super fun sitting by Jayla and Allison, like some of my closest friends, and such amazing teammates, and getting to celebrate with them, and just not knowing when our name was going to pop up. It was just super stressful, but it was really fun.
What was your reaction to it?
We're excited. I mean, Coach Booth, she said that, it's a good draw, but we're just going to take it one game at a time and take Auburn as they come. I'm sure we'll scout them and just get ready to go.
What does it mean to you to get a play from the crowd?
Oh, we're super excited about that, definitely. They played a big part in our game against Marquette. So just having all those fans, they're so supportive, they're so loyal, they're super into it, they're loud, they're encouraging, so that's going to really help us out a lot, I think.
How do you manage the emotions of going through this for the first time in your career? Do you lean into it, or do you try to stay calm and focus on the right things, or how do you start this process?
Definitely leaning into it. It's my first year and it's my only year, so just knowing that this is the only chance and the only opportunity that I have to be aside such amazing girls and coaches and have this opportunity to be a top 16 seed in the NCAA tournament, like my mind is blown. So leaning into it, loving every moment, trying to stay calm, cool and collected, but also really, really excited.
Are you all still kind of on a high from this weekend, or are you fully focused on
Definitely. There's a lot of emotion considering we just played Marquette last night, and then not even 24 hours later we're watching the selection show. But I think having this new excitement is going to help us focus on that and kind of come down from the Big East Championship.
How important was this weekend? You had a bad taste in your mouth coming out of Milwaukee. If anything had happened where you didn't hoist the trophy this weekend, how important was it to bounce back and get off as you go into the tournament on the right foot?
Absolutely. It was super important because I think it gives us a lot of momentum going into the NCAA tournament, knowing that we can like battle and compete with anybody, and getting that big Marquette win. They're our rivals, so it just gives us a lot of confidence. And we play really strong competition. And that was our last match for the tournament, so we're ready to go.
This weekend, a lot of teams got new film on you for like some of the first reps. What's it like knowing that now you're going to go against teams that no one's coming against yet?
Yeah, definitely. I have thought about that, but Kendra just continues to put me in really great spots, and the other teams are different too. So I can scout their defense and see what's open, and I just know that if I swing hard, I've got people behind me covering, and it'll all work out.
Anything else?